The Golden State Warriors took James Wiseman with the second pick in the draft. Wiseman is a guy who played in 3 games in college, very small sample size of games to go off on, but he has had a whole year, a lot of time to work on his game, polish up his weaknesses, and become a better prospect. Wiseman in college averaged 19.7 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 3 blocks on 76% from the field. He is 7'1", 240 pounds with a long wingspan at 7'6". He has perfect physical tools for a center. He's a great athlete with some explosiveness in him. And his physical tools really helps him on the rebounding end. 10.7 rebounds, got a good amount of offensive rebounds in his small games, and this is just due to his length and wingspan that allows him to get these boards. The Warriors was a struggling rebounding team, and Wiseman should immediately come in, help the Warriors fix up their rebounding. He gets into really good position on getting rebounds, just floating around the paint and hunting for offensive boards and defensive boards. Now granted, in his games, the players who were guarding him were much more smaller. He did showcase some fight, and his physical tools allowed him to be a reliable rebounder. Like here on this play, his teammate misses this shot, and Wiseman gets boxed out here, but his long arms helps negate that box out, and he grabs the board here. And here on this play, the defender is boxing him out, actually is able to knock off Wiseman a bit off center, but his long arms and just staying with the play allows him to get this board. What may worry me here is Wiseman's frame. He isn't the strongest guy and he can bulk up. This may hurt his rebounding a bit on the next level, as well as his post play. In the post, he doesn't really have the finesse to trick players, and he doesn't have the strength yet to where he can bully you in the post. And he isn't the best playmaker or passer out of the post. This is stuff that he's going to have to work on and showcase in the NBA, because the Warriors are going to need some playmaking from him in that center spot. I honestly expect him from time to time. Wiseman will just settle for mid-range shots when he gets the ball down low, where he gets the ball and does a turnaround fadeaway mid-range shot. He is capable of making these shots and spacing out the floor, but we haven't seen it that much, or who knows how this shot will translate to the next level, especially from the three-point line. He does have a really good shooting form and touch for a lefty in the mid-range. What I really like from him is how he establishes post position. He's good at closing off his defender and putting that left arm high to where he wants it, and makes it easy for his teammates to get it to him. And though he doesn't have that finesse as a post player, he still was a great finisher inside in his limited games in college. Wiseman also runs the floor really well in transition, something the Warriors really like to do, and Wiseman runs the floor almost like a guard, and plus he is a lob threat. Like here on this play, he gets up the floor quick, and this creates open lanes for him, and with a passing team like Golden State, they'll find him in transition if open. Then here, completely takes away this shot with his long arms, and now it's off to the races, leads the break, and easy finish for him. He can play the pick and roll for a guy like Steph, and because of Steph's gravity as a player, teams want to take away Steph's shooting, so they may look away from Wiseman and signal on Curry. Wiseman should be able to get a lot of easy looks at the rim, and he is an emphatic dunker. Nonetheless, offensively, Wiseman is going to score off of pick and roll feeds. He's a legit lob threat, going to be able to throw it up to him, and he will catch it. He's going to score in transition, and he's going to score off of offensive boards. We may see some post-ups from time to time, but those areas are where he's going to impact the Warriors the most on the offensive end. And what should be noted, the Warriors are going to make Wiseman better. Warriors completely changed Marquise Chris's game for the better, and he thrived with them. Wiseman is going to become better with the ball in his hands in time, learning to operate with the ball in his hands and find open teammates. He isn't comfortable yet with making decisions with the ball in his hands. He's a guy who seems like he's going to have to be set up a lot. He's not the best passer or creator of the ball in his hands, so this will be something he's going to grow with on this team. He's going to have to showcase plays like this, where he gets the ball and he has to scan the floor and find shooters, and this is something that is going to have to be seen more from him. Where Wiseman is expected to shine, and the true reason why the Warriors selected him is his potential as a defensive player, most notably a rim protector. He averaged 3 blocks. Wiseman is a guy who is good at pinning shots, staying with the play, and he has the potential to be a legit rim protector on the next level. He's always willing to challenge everything, every shot that is within vicinity of him. He can come over and be a help defender and just negate shots. He does need to bulk up a bit. He will have problems guarding the more established centers in the league, but he has the potential to where he can use his long arms to intimidate players and just rim protect, something that the Warriors needed as well. For Wiseman, there are worries for him to be a defensive anchor for a team. He tends to bite on pump fakes, and this gets him into foul trouble. He may be a guy who averages a lot of blocks, but he isn't a disciplined defender. It's going to be interesting to see if he can be a versatile defender, someone who can guard multiple positions and guard a pick and roll effectively, because these are the areas that will separate him from the other centers. He did show signs he can do this in college. He has shown the ability to where he can defend perimeter players and the pick and roll effectively. He gets low, good defensive stance, has his arms out to take away passes. Here, he is able to keep up with this guard, and he shows his arms and then blocks his shot. Another play here, Wiseman is able to get low here, good defensive position, stays on his feet against a quicker guard, but he recovers here when he gets beat slightly and he blocks his shot. Then here again, defensive position, active hands, stays in front of his defender one-on-one, and is able to time and rise up for this block. On this play, really good effort, active hands again, really puts his arms to use, gets switched on a guard, and is able to cut the guard off and not let him get by. This forces a reset. The guard has to pass it back out, and Wiseman rushes over to recover, comes back to his original man, uses his body and takes away this shot and makes it difficult to score over Wiseman. He is a guy who just stands his ground. But then you get plays like this where he gets completely thirsty for a block. He helps on this play here, and this pass gets inside to his man. Wiseman here completely bites, easily gets faked out and commits a foul. Then here gets switched on a guard, does get into defensive position, but too much space given, and he gives up a 3 here. James Wiseman's defensive woes mostly comes from just being disciplined and understanding where he is on the court. These are stuff that can be coached, but he is a willing defender and gives effort on that end. And being with a defensive guy like Draymond Green next to him should help get the most out of him defensively. James Wiseman for the Warriors is a guy who fills the need for a traditional center who can play defense. He still needs to expand his offensive game and be much more disciplined on the defensive end, but he gives effort on both ends. Wiseman has a lot of upside, and he is on a franchise that should help maximize his potential.